Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at weather next 8 to 10 days. And today's video will take us to around the 25th of October, so we're going into the final week of the month with this update. Maybe signs of a little bit of a change coming along for the north later on in the period. I think even up to day 8, 9, 10 in the south, we're going to keep a lot of high pressure influences. But in the north, we could just perhaps be seeing the first signs of a little bit of Atlantic buoyancy. Maybe the Atlantic waking up a little bit and starting to throw some rain bands and some stronger winds into the north and west. It's going to be a very, very slow process to break this high pressure down because it's a very intense area of high pressure, but we might be seeing the first signs of a bit of a change in the north and the west of the country as we get through, particularly to the second half of next week, perhaps. So, have a look at all the detail on that in a moment, but before I go on that, just very quickly to mention the ads. There's links to articles on all the pages at Gas Office, so have a browse widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Having to pay for the website, thanks very much for doing that. There's also video ads on most of the pages which open out within the content. When you watch them, they'll close back up again. So, thanks very much for getting involved. And thanks for doing that. There's going to be a live broadcast tomorrow evening for around 7 o'clock. I'll be going live with Quantum to talk about the shorter range weather. We'll be looking probably for signs of a breakdown of the high pressure. Also be looking at the longer range. Have a couple of long range seasonal models to discuss for the winter of 2015-16. We'll be taking all your questions as well via Gazobi's Twitter and also Quantum's YouTube channel. So it'll be fully interactive. That's tomorrow night from 7 o'clock. Right, let's get on with the video, and we're going to have a look at the 500 millibar heights for the next week to 10 days. We've got the E70F on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom with flip charts around 500 millibars, 80,000 feet. It's an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure being moved around by a jet stream running above. Red is sort of high pressure, blue is low pressure. So for the coming week to 10 days, we see this ridge here around the UK and perhaps going just a little bit to the south of the UK with time. What's most interesting is probably the trough of low pressure developing to the north, though. We've got deep blue colours starting to appear to the north of the British Isles on both the GFS and the E70F. And what this indicates is that low pressure is beginning to intensify around Greenland and Iceland. In association, the jet stream is starting to ramp up a bit, and that's starting to put the high pressure, the anticyclone, the orange colours, under pressure. So the jet stream isn't really coming through the country yet, but it certainly is ramping up a bit, and it's certainly starting to put this high pressure under pressure, and particularly for the north, particularly for Scotland, this could start to bring some rain bands and some strong winds. As I said, it's going to be a very slow process to break this high pressure down. It's a very intense area of high pressure, but that's probably the way we will break out of it in the end. The jet stream will just ramp up to a point where the high pressure can't hold on, and it'll just get pushed away. And this could, just saying could, it's one way off, but this could be the first signs of that beginning to happen. So the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles show this relatively well. Dealing with temperatures first of all, we're cool at the moment, as we know, been in a cold air mass most of the week with these easterly winds. Going to stay cool into the weekend, but recovering a little bit with the temperatures. Actually goes a little bit milder than average through the course of next week. And as we go into the end of October, dates are on the bottom, of course, bottom of the chart. As we go into the end of October, we start to get a bit of a drop in the temperatures taking place again, and that's probably in association with those more unsettled conditions beginning to push in from the northwest. Notice not much in the way of precipitation with these spikes through the next week to 10 days. We have got some coming through, and it's all because of showers being dragged in off the North Sea. So not entirely dry period, even though we've got an intense anticyclone dominating, but you wouldn't say that's a particularly wet period by any means. So as we get through to the end of October, we have got the rainfall spikes starting to come back as these temperatures begin to dip. That could again be the low pressure starting to come back in off the Atlantic coast. As we know, we've got this cold anomaly sitting in the North Atlantic in terms of the sea surface temperatures. So if the westerlies do start to push back in, they're going to be a little bit cooler than normal westerlies, just because they're running over quite a cold body of water. So that could be a reason the temperatures are dipping just a little bit as we go through to the end of October, in association with weather becoming more unsettled. The temperature anomaly through the coming week, this goes from 15th to 23rd, looking near normal. Really, actually, we're recovering a bit. Remember, these have been below average through most of the week. We're going closer to average for the coming week, with the colder than average anomaly is going down into France, Belgium, Holland, and Germany. So temperature staging a bit of a recovery, but nothing to write home about, really, even then. Significantly drive an average gain for the coming week. Any change is going to be out of the sort of 7-day period, I would think. So away from the northwest of Scotland anyway. So a significantly drive an average week on the way once again. Here's the generic charts then. The GFS for Monday shows that we've got high pressure in across the country. Now this is in a different position to where it is now. So we've lost that easterly wind that's going to be bringing the showers over the next few days, and quite cool temperatures as well. The high pressure now is sort of centred over the country a little bit to the west. So that's the reason the temperatures actually are staging that bit of a recovery, because we lose the easterly flow and we're bringing more of an Atlantic flow in, albeit still with this high pressure very much in control of the weather. We go through to Tuesday, no change, high pressure is in control. But on Wednesday, well, the high pressure is still there, but notice significantly deep areas of low pressure to the north running in towards Norway. Not enough to break this high pressure down at this point, but certainly enough to start putting the high pressure under pressure. So you notice it's beginning to slip a little bit to the south of us, actually, the centre of that high pressure by the middle of next week, albeit still close enough to keep it mainly dry. And the high pressure just sits around southwestern parts of the country go through to Thursday into Friday. The high pressure is still there across England and Wales, but again these low pressures are fairly deep in the Atlantic. They're trying to come in and push this high pressure away, but it's a real battle that's going on. We end up on day 10 still just about with the high pressure clinging on. This is Sunday the 25th. High pressure still just about clinging on, but you notice these areas of low pressure are getting further and further south with time. So it could be that the days are numbered for this high pressure, or it might fight back and cling on. That sort of chart that you see there is very much 50-50 in terms of whether the high will finally go and we're going to an unsettled spell, or whether actually the high pressure would re-establish itself again. You can't really say from that which way it will go, but certainly signs that the high pressure is being put under pressure by the westerlies and the jet stream by the end of next week and into next weekend. The ECMWF is very similar actually, so here we are for the start of next week, high pressure bridging in from the west this time. We go through to the middle part of next week, and again high pressure just about clinging on down to the south and southwest, but these areas of low pressure to the north and northwest of us are pretty intense, and they are sort of trying to move this high pressure out of the way. Even so, for the south, the high goes on through the second half of next week, whereas to the north it remains, or it becomes, more unsettled. Probably there'll be some bands of rain coming in by this point, Thursday the 22nd, to Scotland and Northern Ireland, with fairly strong winds as well. And then we go through to day 10, and this does break the high pressure out of the way. Actually, it does break it down, moves it out into the Atlantic, and we bring down these cool northwesters. After that, the high pressure could well re-establish itself, though, so probably not a definitive breakdown. It's not going off to the Azores, for example. But it certainly looks like we're going to see the jet stream and the Atlantic beginning to wake up just a little bit through the course of next week. Nothing exceptional, nothing that you wouldn't expect really for the middle of autumn, but I do think we could start to see some rain bands and some stronger winds coming into Scotland and Northern Ireland in particular. For England and Wales, though, it looks like this high pressure is going on at least until the end of next week, maybe even beyond that. So no real breakdown and no real substantial rain coming up to the south beyond the showers that we've got coming in on this easterly wind over the next day or two. But for the south, it really is high pressure going on at least for the next week to 10 days, which is sort of the foreseeable future, if you like. Whereas the north could turn a bit more unsettled, and whether that is the start of a general breakdown of high pressure, it's too early to say. Maybe JMA Friday tomorrow, looking at the month ahead, will be able to shed more light on it. That's all for now then. Thanks for watching.